We're here at the 2024 BCI conference recording in the EpiPOD studio. I'm your host, Jada Monet, and I'm here with Sunday Best All-Star winner, Dathan.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
I'm amazing, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. We're so glad to have you.
Happy to be here. It's a lot of great things happening with this conference, and I'm just glad to be in the number.
Yes. So what would you say has been the most impactful moment of the event thus far?
That's going to be hard to narrow down. But for me, and I can explain this a little bit, because I was kind of like fell into being an influencer. I never sought out for it. It just happened one day. I just had followers, and it's like, hey, what are we doing here? What do y'all want to do today? And so for me, I'm a goofy guy that just does random stuff. But for me, this conference is really helping me understand how to focus because I am a Christian, and that's huge. And to focus that energy purposefully. And that's been the biggest thing from this whole conference, understanding that I do have a platform and I do have influence. So what are you doing with that influence? Are you just being random? You know, are you just being funny? Which is nothing wrong with funny, because funny actually is a medicine, and that's the Bible talks about it. But what is the real purpose, and what's important to you, and is that being shown in your content? And to me, that wasn't. And this conference helped me realize that. And so I was like, okay, I got some stuff I got to clean up and do. And so now I'm excited because I got some stuff to do. And,
Right.
But that's kind of been the biggest takeaway for me. You know, I've been praying for influence, but I wasn't thinking about as relates to internet. I was just thinking about in the areas I'm already at. You know, I'm an actor, and I'm a singer, and I'm in the gospel industry. And in secular, I work in secular industries as well. I'm into theater as well, and I'm on a tour with the Rick James story. And so all those things are happening, and I'm praying for influence in all those areas, not realizing the obvious one, elephant in the room, dude, you got pages and people are just like waiting for you to say something.
Yes.
What are you saying, and is it impactful? And so for me, I was like, whoa, I was like slapped in the face a couple times during a bunch of sessions, like, what are you doing? Pow, pow, pow. So that's been the biggest takeaway for me, and I'm excited about the future.
Wow, that is so awesome. So can we touch on a little bit of Sunday Best?
Oh, yeah.
How was that experience, and what actually inspired you to be on there?
So a long time ago in 2010, my wife at the time, I'm not married anymore, but my wife was like, hey, you should do this show. And I was doing my gospel thing, you know, independently. I was put out CD not too long ago. She's like, there's this show, and it already had like 2 seasons. She's like, you should do it. It's on BET. And in a weird way, I was like, I don't need a show. I'm doing my thing already. And she's like, yeah, but what will it hurt to have a little? And I didn't truly understand what it meant until I auditioned and I got on the show. And I was like, oh,
Right.
I've never had TV exposure. Right. This is great. And although I did not win that season, Leandria Johnson won that season. It catapulted me to an audience and following that I've never had before. TV presence will just do that, and I thank God for her, because I was like, whoa, like, and so I was traveling, I was doing a lot more than I was doing on my own, and I was happy with it, and I was content. And so later they was like, hey, we're doing this all-star thing, we're inviting all the favorites from different seasons, will you be willing to come back? I'm like, heck yeah, because I knew what a television presence can do for your career.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah. And so this time, you know, like last time I made like top 6, I was like, if I make top 3, then, you know, I have, you know, bigger following, and, you know, my mind was all over the place.
Yeah.
And I ended up winning, and I was like, oh.
Yes.
And so the rest is history. And so, but even back then, my focus was not truly understanding what it looks like to have following, what that really meant to me. It was like, oh, numbers. And I was intrigued. Oh, the numbers went up. What is it now? I check back the next day. Oh, it's higher. But now it's like, what does that even mean? Like, who's watching and what are they watching for and what do I have to offer and is it being impactful? That's where I am. That's growth.
Yes, that's
I was
awesome.
childish before, but now I'm like, no, what does this mean? I got kids now. I'm like, you know, I see them following people, and as a parent, I'm like, who's this person you're following? I'm looking them up, like, what are they feeding? And so now I get it, because now if somebody's following me, well, what are they getting out of me? Is it negative? If it's positive? Is it random? Is it weird? Is it? And so now I'm looking at that, and that means a lot to me now.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's really powerful to think about, like, the content you're promoting and you're pushing out. Is that impactful? Is it positive? And I think everyone should ask themselves that question, you know, before putting out things.
And am I being a good steward? God gave me this platform.
Yes.
I didn't really ask for it. I mean, I wasn't, you know, I like social media is for me, but I never thought about it from a perspective of them or the people who watch, whoever's watching is them.
Yes.
And so it's still something God gave me. Am I being a good steward of what God gave me? And I had a mentor ask me that. He was like, it's funny because he didn't really know me, and I met him randomly at LA Fitness because his truck broke down and I needed to help him. But he was into discipleship, and he was discipling me, and everybody he saw, because God put that mandate on him. And so although I was already in the kingdom, he was teaching me about discipleship. And so we had this house church we always go to. And then one day he followed me on social media. He was like, whoa, you have a lot of followers. What are you doing with that? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, what are you doing with that? People are following you. What are you doing with that? And I never thought about that. I just like, oh, let's do something funny and see if we can get the numbers. But now it's like people are watching, give them something that's important to you or what God has given you and share that. So now I'm walking that out, and thanks to this conference, I got convicted. And here we are.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
For sure.
That's good to hear. And I'm really, really happy that, you know, you're excited. And we're just glad to have you in the building today.
No, for sure. And thanks for having me. Once again, influence for me has been in different facets. Like I have a TV presence now from movies. I've done film. I've done theater. Like, for instance, Medea's Neighbors from Hell. I'm in that. I've done some stuff with Black is King. I was in Black is King singing background with Beyonce in a choir. Like, just random stuff. But there are people who are now following me because of the random stuff, and it's all from different places.
Yes.
Now, they're all centered in one place looking for me. Now, what you going to do? And for me, it could be something random or me being random, or could it be purposeful? And so I would rather lean towards purposeful. I will be random because I can't help it, but I'm leaning more in towards purposeful because I do want to make an impact. I want to influence in that type of way. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, thank you so much.
For sure.
So where can we find you on social media?
So, yeah, I'm Dathan Thigpen, which, wait, what? Dathan, yeah, I know. DATHAN THIGPEN, everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, as well as IG.
Awesome.
And MySpace. Just kidding.
Well, thank you so much, and we're so glad to have you in the building today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Jada Monet. Don't forget to follow us on all platforms at Riverside Epicenter.